Peotone FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the Emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripe with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the President so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 7 members present, Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the Peotone FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Madam President.
Floor member.
I move that the Peotone FFA sponsor an Agroscience fair for our section members this fall.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the Peotone FFA sponsors an Agroscience fair for our section members this fall. Is there any discussion?
Madam President.
Floor member.
I think this is a wonderful idea. I think it will put kids out there more to discover new things and be interested in other things. So I urge you to vote yes on this motion.
Madam President.
Treasurer.
I see no point in doing this. We already learned about it in most of our FFA classes, so I feel as though there's no need for us to host a fair just for students to learn even more about it.
Madam President.
Reporter.
I think this is a very good idea to bring other chapters to see what our chapter has done and to gain more interest in our chapter all around so that they can see the progress that we've made with Agroscience. So I urge you to vote yes.
Madam
Madam
President.
President. Secretary.
I know that this would be a good and fun thing to do for us. The Agroscience Fair does normally attract people in from all over the place, so it would be great to show these people what we can do for them and show how we can just generally improve and help Agroscience. So I urge you to vote yes on this motion.
Madam
Madam
President.
President. Sentinel.
I think this is a great motion. I really think it would open up more opportunities for students to participate in the fair, as well as inform the community on what we are doing with Agroscience, so I urge you to vote yes.
Madam President.
Vice President.
I think this is a terrible idea. I think that there is not a large enough crowd of people and FFA members that enjoy doing Agroscience, and I think just hosting a big event for such a small group of people would not be a good idea, so I urge you to vote no on this motion.
Madam President.
Floor member.
I disagree with the Vice President. I feel like even though Agroscience is not a big thing for kids, having them see what it is and can lead to bigger things for us. So I urge you to vote yes on this main motion.
Madam President.
Possession of privilege.
State your question.
Yeah, use the restroom.
No, you may not.
Madam President.
Reporter.
I move to postpone this motion to the next chapter meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to postpone the main motion to the next chapter meeting. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Reporter.
I think it would be a good idea to postpone so that we can speak about this in front of our own FFA members, and they can let us know if they would be interested in attending or if they know people who would want to attend this. So I urge you to vote yes on postponing.
Madam
Madam
President.
Treasurer.
I feel as though there is no need to postpone this. We can talk about this now. We are supposed to be represents for our FFA members, so we can talk for them, and I think we just need to not postpone this. So I urge you all to vote no.
Madam President.
Secretary.
I think that we should not postpone this. We need to vote on this motion now, that way we can get this out of the way and make our new motion. So I urge you to vote down on postponing it, definitely.
Madam President,
Sentinel.
I think this is a bad idea. I really think we should vote on this now instead of waiting later. And since it's this fall, which seems like a far away, but it really isn't, so I urge you to vote no.
Madam President,
Board member.
I disagree with postponing this to the next chapter meeting. I think having all of us here now, we can decide this, and even though some students might not be interested, we can mention it in classes or in any other events. So I urge you to vote no.
Madam President.
Vice President.
I don't think this is a good idea postponing to the next chapter meeting because I think that, or I know that we have a banquet instead of our chapter meeting in May, so we wouldn't have much time or opportunity to talk about this, and I think we're perfectly capable about discussing this now. So I urge you to vote no.
Madam President,
Treasurer.
like the Sentinel had previously brought up, if we did postpone it to the next chapter meeting, we would not have enough time because over the summer, a lot of people are going on vacation or doing a lot of other things. So we would not have as much time to get up, meet together, and converse about how we would get this set up and everything like that.
Madam President,
Secretary.
parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
What vote does this take to pass this?
This requires a majority vote to pass.
Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on postponing? Seeing none, we'll now be voting on postponing the main motion to the next chapter meeting. All those in favor of postponing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
The nays have it. The postponing has failed. Is there any more discussion on the main motion?
Madam President,
Secretary.
I know that this would be good because it would teach kids educational values of Agroscience, and it would just be a generally good, fun time for everyone. I think that if kids really want to learn about this, we should host it, and I know that this would be good. So I urge you to vote yes on this motion.
Madam President.
Vice President.
I still think this is an awful idea. I think that we wouldn't be able to get the space for this and the food and all the other costs that go towards this, and I think that I don't think this is a good idea. So I urge you to vote no.
Madam President,
Sentinel.
I move to amend this motion and strike out this fall and insert next spring.
Second.
Thank you. It's been seconded. It's been moved and seconded to amend the main motion to strike out fall and replace it with spring. Is there any discussion on the amendment?
Madam President.
Sentinel.
I think this is a much better idea than doing it in the upcoming fall. Like the treasurer previously said, lots of students go on vacation over summer and aren't really motivated to work on this. So I think if we move it to next spring, it would give students more of an opportunity to work on it throughout the school year and seek any help that they might need from our advisors. So I urge you to vote yes.
Madam
President.
Reporter.
I completely agree with the Sentinel. I think moving this to next year gives us a ton of time to set up contests or things for our students to participate in for the fair, and so we can know exactly what we want to host and show in our fair. So I urge you to vote yes on this amendment.
Madam President,
Board member.
I agree with this amendment. I think having the time would be a way better idea and be able to get more people to be interested in this. And like the reporter said, having to set up with everything, having to deal with food, having to deal with costs, it would be better to understand this in the spring. So I urge you to vote yes.
Madam President.
Vice President.
I think this is an awful idea because I think that during spring there's so much at school going on, like prom and spring break and stuff like that. And I think that it would be really hard for other students to attend this with other things going on at school. So I urge you to vote no.
Madam President,
Secretary.
like what the Vice President is saying, we probably don't have enough time to plan this in the spring. Like spring break, everyone's going to want to have a fun time and not come to school. So I urge you to vote no on this motion.
Madam President,
Sentinel.
I still think this is a great idea. With spring break and all other sports and activities, I think we could simply just plan around spring break and see when the prom dates are and other dances so everyone will be able to participate.
Madam
Madam President,
Remember.
even though in the spring it's close to summer and many kids do not want to attend school because it's coming close to the end of the year, I feel like if we encourage them and help them understand this might be what they're interested in, I feel like a bunch of people would be interested in doing this. So I urge you to vote yes.
Is there any more discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll now be voting on the amendment, which would read, I move that the Peotone FFA sponsors an Agroscience fair for our section members next spring. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it, the amendment has passed. The main motion now reads, I move that the Peotone FFA sponsors an Agroscience fair for our section members this next spring. Is there any more discussion on the main motion?
Madam
President,
Treasurer.
if we did have this in next spring, we still have no space to hold it. If we use the classrooms, there are plenty of other clubs that are using it during the spring, so we wouldn't have any space to hold this fair. So I urge you all to vote no on this motion.
Madam President,
Vice President.
I think I've changed my mind. I think that this would be a wonderful idea, and I think that would open many new opportunities to newer FFA members and older ones that haven't got to experience this yet, and learn, so they could learn more about it, and maybe they would learn to like it. So I urge you to vote yes.
Question of privilege.
State your question.
May I use the restroom?
No, you may not. Is there any more discussion on the main motion?
Madam President,
Secretary.
I think that is a terrible thing that we did this in the spring. But honestly, it may start to be looking better. We could always plan around it, so I am starting to change my mind a little bit about this. We could always just move things around. We could always talk with the school board committee and always figure it out. So I think that this is a great idea we're hosting it in the spring.
Is there any more discussion on the main motion? Seeing none, we'll now be voting on the main motion, which reads, I move that the Peotone FFA sponsors an Agroscience fair for our section members next spring. All those in favor of the main motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it, the main motion has passed. Is there any new business which should properly be presented? Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Madam President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this meeting of the Peotone FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let's be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in salute to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned. Please rise for questioning.
All right, we will start with you, Madam President. If a motion is postponed to the next chapter meeting, when in the order of business would that motion be brought back for consideration?
I would ask for a second and we would debate on it, and it would take precedence unless there was like a point of order or question of privilege.
Okay, thank you. Madam Sentinel, if the motion to amend is applied to an amendment on a recess, what is this amendment called? Okay. Can this amendment be discussed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Treasurer, as treasurer, what are two duties of your office outlined in the official FFA manual?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements presented to me, and I build up our financial standings with anything given to me, savings, investments, and everything like that.
Okay, thank you. Madam Reporter, if an organization holds regular meetings on a monthly basis, for how long could a motion be postponed if the motion postponed definitely is adopted?
The month, any month between meetings.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Secretary,
Yes?
If you are the chair and a member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks to adjust the volume of the microphone, how would you proceed?
I would say something along the lines of, can you please add volume or get rid of volume to the microphone?
Okay, thank you. Madam Advisor, in addition to the 6 officers included in opening ceremonies, what are 2 additional officers that a chapter could elect according to the official FFA manual?
Isn't it a floor member?
Okay. And Madam Vice President, your question has 2 parts. What is the purpose of the motion question of privilege?
Question of privilege is to bring up a personal matter, such as may I use the restroom, or can I choose and have a training room?
Okay. And your second part is a vote required to adopt a question of privilege.
Is a vote required?
Correct. Is a vote required to adopt a question of privilege?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, ladies and gents, that's all that we've got. If you would leave your cards behind, take your pens and pencils with you, you are free to go.
Thank you.